Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to my patio. My name's Elizabeth, and we're going to do some yoga together today. I thought that we'd work on hamstrings and quads, do some work on the legs. Let's come back to the mat. As always, start in your comfortable seat. Rock a little bit from side to side, get yourself anchored. Let your hands rest on your knees and take your shoulders up with an inhale. And exhale to slide them down your back. Just take a couple moments to get centered. And start to breathe into your belly, into your ribs, and start to quiet your mind as you relax a little bit. Let yourself pay attention to your own needs. Scan your body for any signs of tension or discomfort. And if you identify those, let them go with an exhale. Bring your hands together at the heart, resting the thumbs on your sternum, and take an inhale. Bow toward your fingertips with your exhale. And find the intention to guide your practice today. Seal that intention to your heart, and then take your hands down to the knees, rolling your shoulders back. Lift your chin and your chest, and open your eyes, welcoming yourself to your practice. Let's start with a simple twist to the left. Place the left hand behind you, right hand to the knee. Sit up tall, and revolve on your exhale. Unwind back to center, and then take the same twist to your right. Excuse me. Come back to center, and then take your ankles a little farther away from your hips, or walk your hips back a little bit farther away from your ankles, holding onto your knees. On the inhale, take your heart over the right knee. Sweep your chest across, and on the exhale, round your back. Inhale to come forward again, and exhale to rock back. And just start to soften up into the hips a little bit there. Move at a pace that seems right for you and that fits with your breath. And come back up to center. Change the cross of your ankles. And take the same rotation to the other side. Inhale the heart over your left knee. Sweep it across and rotate back. Inhale forward. Exhale back. And if you're starting to feel a little bit warmer, your back is a little more comfortable, your hips a little bit more open, you can start to drop your chest a little more. Maybe bringing yourself really low toward the cross of your ankles. Getting your shoulders and your elbows involved as you continue to limber up the back. Back up to center and over onto hands and knees. Tuck your toes under for stability and get your knees right below your hips, hands right below your shoulders. And then firmly tuck the left toes, extend the right leg back behind you at hip height, and extend the left arm forward. Plug the shoulder back, pull the hip up. Keep an internal rotation on your right leg so the kneecap and the toes face the floor. Set those down, and then extend the left leg back, right arm forward, plug the shoulder back, the hip up, and internally rotate the left leg this time. Set those sides down, and then step back to plank. Lift your hips for downward dog. And here you can move around a little if you need to. Bend your knees or press your hips a bit from side to side. Bend your elbows or dip your shoulders. Get comfortable in your downward dog. Look forward and walk up to forward fold. Inhale for a long spine. Exhale and bow. With soft knees, rise up. Reach up, take a little back bend. And exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale and circle the arms. Exhale and fold down. Inhale, long spine. Exhale and fold. Soften your knees and step back to plank. Set your knees down, lower your chest, and then scoop up into a little cobra pose, keeping the elbows back. Tuck your toes under, push up first to your knees, and then straighten your legs, lift your hips, downward dog. Look forward and walk up to forward bend. Inhale, little lift. Exhale and fold. With soft knees, roll up to standing. Reach up and take a little back bend. Exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, circle the arms. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, fold. Soften your knees, step back with your left foot, coming into a lunge. Lower the left knee, and on your inhale, sweep up, half crescent. Take the hands down, straighten your left leg, and step back to downward dog. Inhale to plank. Exhale down. Inhale to cobra. And exhale, downward dog. Look forward and walk up to forward bend. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale and bow. With soft knees, rise up. Reach up, little back bend. And exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale and sweep the arms up. Exhale, float forward. Inhale, long back. Exhale, fold. Soften your knees, send your right foot back. And drop the right knee. Inhale up to half crescent, left side. Bring the hands down, straighten the right leg, and step back to downward dog. Inhale to plank. Exhale down. Inhale for cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. Bend your right knee and push your left heel down toward the floor, getting a good stretch in the calf muscle. And then change sides. Soften both knees and walk up to forward fold. Inhale for a long spine. Exhale and bow. Walk your feet out as wide as you can. And then bring your hands to your shins, roll the shoulders back, lift your chest, and look forward. Feel that stretch there in the hamstrings. Lift the tailbone a little bit higher and lean into it slightly so you bring more weight into the toes. You get a nice long stretch in the hamstrings. Exhale and fold. Inhale to lift your back. Exhale as you walk your hands over to the left, bow in toward your right shin. Bring yourself back to center and reset. Inhale. Take the hands over to the right and bow in toward your right shin on the exhale. Press the ribs open on your left side. Walk yourself back to center. Take the toes off the mat, keeping the heels on, and then drop your hips, bending your knees into a wide squat. Pull the hands up to your heart. You can rock a little bit from side to side. If it's hard for you to keep your heels down in this pose, you're welcome to put a blanket or a towel underneath them or a pillow underneath them to get a little more height on your heels. Similarly, if it's too low, you can rest up here and just start to deepen into the hips a little bit as you start to warm up, if this is too much too early in the practice. Bring the hands down, lift up your hips as you straighten your legs, and bring your feet back below the hips. With soft knees, rise up, reach up, little back bend, and exhale, hands to the heart. Center your right foot and take the left foot back behind you, far enough that you can keep the heel down, but you've got a really straight front leg. Turn so that you're facing the top of the mat and you're not opening your hips at all, but rather keeping the hips facing forward. And then just push into that back foot as you start to pitch forward a little bit. Keep the back flat, and then extend your hands back. So here you're starting to get a stretch in the right hamstring and the left calf. Bring the hands back to the hips and come back up. Step forward, and then center the left foot, step back with the right. Square up the hips, put some pressure in that back heel, and then carefully start to pitch forward and extend your hands back. Release and come back up. Step forward. On your inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale and fold down. Inhale to lengthen your spine. Exhale and fold. Step back to plank. Lower to your chest. Inhale to cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale to your toes, extend your right leg up behind you. On the exhale, pull the knee below your chest and step your right foot between your hands. Soften your left knee a little and rise up, coming into crescent. Bring the hands down and step back, downward dog. Inhale back to your toes, left leg up. Exhale through to your high lunge. Soften the right knee a little and come up, full crescent, left side. Sink into it. Take the hands down and step back to downward dog. Stay here. Take a child's pose or inhale to plank. Exhale down. Inhale for cobra and exhale, downward dog. Look forward and walk up to forward bend. Inhale, little lift. Exhale and fold. Take your middle and index fingers and hook them around your big toes. Even if you have to bend your knees to hold on, that's fine. Hook those big toes. Inhale to lengthen your spine again. And on your exhale, bend the knees out, or bend the elbows out rather, and start to bring your chest a little lower. Release your toes. Lift your chest for a long spine. Exhale and bow. With soft knees, roll up. Reach up, little back bend. And exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, circle the arms. Exhale and fold down. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, fold, soften your knees, step back. Plank. Lower to your chest. Inhale for cobra. And exhale, downward dog. Inhale to your toes, extend your right leg up. Exhale and step through, high lunge. Drop the left heel and rise up for warrior one. Pull the right shoulder back, sink into it a little bit. Look forward, straighten your right leg, and then send your hands back and lean forward a little bit, bringing your heart more over your knee. Reach extending back with the fingers, reach extending forward with your heart. Bend the right knee and set the hands down. Step back, downward dog. Come back up to your toes, left leg up. Exhale, high lunge on your left. Set the right heel down and come up for warrior one on the left. Draw the left shoulder back, take your twist so that your chest faces the front knee, anchoring into the back foot. Straighten your left leg and send your hands back, bringing your chest forward over the front knee. So again, you reach back with the hands, bring the heart forward, reach forward with your chest. Bend the left knee, set the hands down, and return to downward dog. Stay here, take your child's pose, or inhale to plank, exhale down, inhale to cobra, and exhale, downward dog. Look forward and walk up, forward bend. Inhale, long spine. Exhale and fold. Pick up your left toes and place your left hand underneath that foot so that your toes rub your left wrist. And then same thing with the other side. So you bring the backs of your hands underneath your feet. And again, you can bend knees if this is better for you. Inhale, take a lift. Exhale and bow in. Release first one hand and then the other. With soft knees, roll up to standing. Reach up and lean back. Exhale, hands to your heart. Take your hands behind your hips and interlace them there. And if you can't comfortably reach hand to hand, then you can use a towel or a strap between your hands. And get your feet about shoulder distance apart. You can turn your toes out if that's more comfortable for you, or you can keep them facing forward. Roll the shoulders back and pull the elbows together to open your chest. Tuck the hips under and start to straighten your arms, lift your chest, and on your exhale, bow forward, reaching your hands up and overhead. Release your hands to the floor. Inhale for a long spine. And exhale to bow back in. Turn your toes out again. And then drop back into your squat. Keeping your heels down, hands to your heart. Wedge those elbows between your knees so you can pull the hands down and get your knees a little bit wider. Again, if this is not good for you, hands down to the floor, heels up on a support, lifting the hips. You got a lot of modifications you can take if the squat is too deep. Set your hands down, lean some weight into them, and pick up your hips. Bring your feet back below your hips. Soften the knees and roll all the way up. Reach your arms up. And exhale, hands to your heart. Coming back to the top of your mat, inhale the arms up. Exhale and fold down. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, fold. Soften your knees, step back with your left foot. Using padding for your left knee if you like it, set the left knee down. And then start to push your hips back so that your left thigh bone is straight. So you don't want to move back this far, but rather you want that hip right over the knee. Push the right foot forward a little bit if you need to, and pick the right toes up. This is another opportunity to use blocks, if you like to use blocks to support this pose. You can place them at whatever height is appropriate for you. So again, we want this left side to be straight, right leg to be straight. Pick up the toes, and then use your blocks for support if you need them. If you don't need them, bring your hands down below the shoulders. Keep that left thigh bone vertical. Inhale to lift, and exhale to walk down a little bit. Keep pushing the inner arch forward so that you lengthen the inner thigh, and keep this hamstring nice and long. Inhale again, little lift. Exhale and fold. Bend your right knee, bring the foot back between your hands. Position the support for the other side. And then step forward, extending your left leg up. Exhale and bow. Lower your left foot. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, bow. And send the right foot back behind you. Setting the right knee down. Take the hips back so you straighten the left leg. Pick up the toes and push that foot forward. You want to keep the right thigh straight this time. Hip right over the knee. And again, you can use blocks if you like them underneath your shoulders. Inhale to lift. Exhale and bow. Push the inner arch forward, getting a nice long left inner thigh. Inhale, lift. Exhale and fold. Draw the left foot back as you bend your knee. Straighten your right leg. And pop up, lifting the right leg up behind you. Inhale, little lift. Exhale and fold. Set the right foot down. Inhale, little lift. Exhale and bow. Soft knees, rise up. Reach up. And exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale again, swing the arms. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, long back. Exhale and fold. Soften your knees, step back, plank. Continue your exhale as you lower down. Inhale to cobra. And exhale, downward dog. Inhale up to your toes, extend the right leg up. Exhale and step through, high lunge. Lower the left heel and rise up for warrior two. Pulling the left hip back, tucking the hips, sink into it a little bit, and turn your gaze over your right hand. Straighten your right leg, pitch forward, and tip down into a triangle pose. Roll that left shoulder back and look up. And here, if you prefer, you can place your hand on a block next to your calf muscle if you need a little support, a little height. Or if you like, instead, you can bring your hand to the top of your shin. And you have the option to set the hand on the floor if that's better for you. Woof. Look down, bend the right knee. Come back to the lunge. Step back to downward dog. Inhale to your toes, left leg up. Exhale, high lunge. Drop the right heel and rise up, warrior two. Straighten your left leg, pitch forward, and drop down into triangle pose, placing your left hand on the shin, or on a block, or on the floor. Rotate the right shoulder and open up there. Look down, bend the left knee, come back into the lunge, and push back, downward facing dog. Stay here, take a child's pose or inhale to plank, exhale down, inhale to cobra, and exhale, downward dog. Look forward and walk up, forward fold. Inhale, long back. Exhale and bow. Soften your knees and rise up. Reach up, little back bend. And exhale, hands to your heart. Inhale, swing the arms. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, long spine. Exhale and bow. Step back, plank. Lower to your chest. Inhale for cobra. And exhale, downward dog. Inhale to your toes, extend your right leg up. Exhale, step through, high lunge. Now we're going to move into a pyramid pose here. So if you like to use blocks in pyramid, you can position them under your shoulders here. If you prefer to take pyramid with hands on the floor, that's fine too. Straighten your right leg. And you can either keep your left heel lifted, or you can set the left heel down as you would in a triangle pose, whatever you prefer. On your inhale, pick up your chest, lean forward a little bit, but keep that right leg straight. If you need to, you can pick up the toes so that you don't lock up the right knee. Inhale, take a little pick up. Exhale and bow in. And if you're using blocks here, you can work your way down with the blocks. So if you can start up high like this, leaning forward and get that good stretch in the hamstrings. And as you continue to soften into that muscle, you can lower the blocks. Maybe take them down another notch. Inhale again, pick up your chest. Exhale and fold. And if you don't need blocks, you don't have to use them. Spiral on the ball of the back foot if you have that heel down. Bend your right knee, coming back into the lunge. Plant your hands and step back, downward dog. Inhale to your toes, left leg up. Exhale, high lunge. Either keep your back heel lifted or you can set it flat as you straighten your left leg. And again, you have the option to position blocks for support if you'd like a little extra height on your chest. And one side may feel very different than the other. So you might need blocks on one side, whereas on the other you don't. Again, lengthen your spine. Exhale and start to sink. You can tip the blocks down if you need to. Inhale again, little pickup. Exhale, refold. Maybe take the blocks down another notch. Or potentially, if this side feels like it's ready for it, you can bring your hands all the way to the floor. Inhale again, little lift. Exhale and bow in. One more, little pickup. Exhale and fold. Bend your left knee, pick up the right heel, coming back into your lunge. Plant your hands and step back, downward dog. Stay here, take a child's pose, or inhale to plank. Exhale down. Inhale to cobra. And exhale, downward dog. Look forward and walk up, forward bend. Inhale, long spine. Exhale and fold. Soften your knees and rise up. Reach up, little back bend. And exhale, hands to your heart. And take a little balance pose now where you'll have the option to stretch into a hamstring if you'd like. And you can always practice a balance at the wall. So if it's easier for you to hold on to the wall and just use something there to provide you with a little sense of balance. This is a window, so I'm not gonna push into it, but touch the wall frame a little bit there. Or you can perform the balance on your mat or on the floor, wherever you like. Start with your weight into the left foot, pick the right knee up, and then reach down for your foot with your right hand. You kind of have to hold it like it's a step, like you would in happy baby pose. So hang on to the outside of that foot and then straighten the leg. And if this is not possible for you with a hand, you can use a strap or a towel instead. And you can either stay here with your left hand at the hip, or you can extend the left hand up. Release and set that right foot down. And then same thing, if you like to hold on to something, you can hold on. I'm going to hold on to this post potentially, and we'll bring the weight into the right foot, pick the left knee up, hold on like a step to the outside of the foot, and just hang on there. Or you can extend straight. And if that's not possible for you, you can use a strap or a towel. And to challenge the balance, you just extend the right arm up. Bend your left knee, release, and set it down. Come back to the top of your mat. Inhale the arms up. And exhale, fold down. Inhale, long spine. Exhale and fold. Soften your knees and step back. Plank. Lower to your chest. Inhale for cobra. And exhale, downward dog. Inhale to the toes, right leg up. Exhale, high lunge. Set your left foot down and rise up for warrior two again. Sink into it a little more deeply, and then reach up, coming into reverse warrior, taking your left hand down the back of your left leg. And I like to press my palm against the hamstring to sort of keep myself grounded in the pose, know where I am in space so I can sink into it a little more. Straighten the right leg and tip down back into triangle pose. Look down, bend the right knee, find your lunge, and step back, downward dog. Back to your toes, left leg up. Exhale, high lunge. Set the right heel down, come up for warrior two. Lift up into reverse warrior. Straighten the left leg, and then tip down into triangle pose. Look down, bend the left knee, come back into the lunge, and return to downward dog. Stay here, take child's pose or inhale, plank. Exhale, down. Inhale the cobra, and exhale, downward dog. Look forward and walk up, forward bend. Inhale, little lift. Exhale and fold. Soften your knees and bring yourself back up to standing. Reach the arms up, and exhale, hands to your heart. Taking another balance opportunity here. Bring your weight into the left foot. Sink into that side a little bit. And again, you can balance at the wall if you prefer. And then we're going to pick that right knee up again. Reach down for the foot just like we did before. Only this time, open the foot out so that you've got your knee behind your elbow. And then you can straighten up over here. Extend the left arm. So if it's not comfortable for you to do this holding on the foot, then you can do it with a strap or a towel around your foot instead. To release, bend the knee and set the foot down. Okay. Same thing on the other side. Take the weight into your right foot. Always have the option to hold on if you prefer to balance with your hand on a wall. Feel a softness in that knee. Pick the left knee up. Hold on to the foot. And then open the foot out and extend the leg. And extend the right arm. Release and set that down. Shake the legs out a little bit and come back to the top of your mat. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, fold, soften your knees, step back to plank. Lower all the way down. Inhale to cobra. Exhale, back to child's pose. Walk yourself back up to seated and come down to your mat, extending your legs forward. Find the middle of the mat so you have a little bit of room to recline. Lean onto your right hip and pull your left foot over next to that hip, pushing your calf muscle out of the way. Ideally, you'll pull that foot up really close to the hip or scoot the hip really close to the foot and keep your left sitting bone anchored right next to the heel. But if that feels too tight or there's too much pressure on your knee, then it's fine to move the hips over a little bit. You have some space between your hip and the foot if that feels better on your knees in particular. And if you have really beefy calves, you may need to give it a second try. Give it a real shove over to the side there. And then we're going to begin to recline. Start with your hands behind your hips and roll the shoulders back. Lift your hips up, take a little tuck in them, and then set them down. This may be as far as you want to go. You just stay up here, resting on the heels of your hands. Next option is to lower down to your elbows. Again, you pick up your hips, give them a little tuck, and set them back down. And this continues to be really intense stretch there, down by the knee at the top of the quad. But as you recline, it starts to move upward, and it gets a little closer to your hip. Final option, if you like, is to lie down completely and bring your shoulders all the way to the mat. And when I'm fully reclined like this, I like to hang onto my ankle. It helps me, again, feel grounded, helps me push a little bit more into my left knee so that I don't let that left knee pop up. To come up, if you're fully reclined, push up to your elbows first, and then from your elbows, push up to your hands. And then lean forward, back onto your right hip, and extend the left leg forward, and bounce it out. So we'll do the same thing on the other side. Lean onto the left hip, bring your right foot beside you, shove the calf muscle out of the way so that you can get some compression there, and try to snug the hip up right next to the heel. If that doesn't happen for you, it's okay. You can set the foot a few inches away from the hip if that feels more accessible. And for some of us, this is as far as we'll go because it's too intense on the knees. But if you have a little more to give, you can place your hands behind you and lean back on your hands. Lift and lower the hips after you give them a little tuck. And you have the option to drop to your elbows. Pick up your hips, tuck them again. And then you have the option to fully recline. Keep pressing the right knee forward. I like to hang on to my right ankle, but you can place your hand wherever you like it. And to come up, if you're fully reclined, pull up to your elbows first, and then to your hands. Then up to seated. Lean on the left hip and extend the right leg forward, bounce them out a little bit. Come back down to your back. Bend your knees and get your hips close to your heels. Keeping your left knee bent and the left foot down, pull the right knee into the chest and hold on underneath it, and then start to straighten that leg. You may want to keep your hands down here, but you may be able to reach up a little higher. So you might reach to your knee or you might reach all the way up to your calf. we're going to start to pull this forward a little bit. Now what you need to guard against is that you don't pick your hips up. So we don't want to push into that left foot to get any height on the hips at all. This is just nice and soft. And you can start to walk your hands up toward your foot and then potentially take hold of the foot just like you did in your standing balance, only this time you're on your back. So there's a lot less work to do, but you can focus on stretching through the back of the right leg, lengthening the hamstring. And if you prefer, you can take your index and middle fingers around the big toe, if that's better for you, and just pull a little bit there. Try to drop the right shoulder and focus on lengthening and straightening through the back of the right leg. And if you find yourself way up here, like you got to pull up or you got to push up like that to get the stretch, you're going to lose all the action in the back of the leg. So it's better to be here and down and focus on where you're doing the best stretch rather than to focus on, how high can you reach. Bend that knee and set the foot down. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Bring that left knee into the chest, hold on there to start, and then straighten the leg. And you can either point or flex, whatever works for you. And start to walk the hands up a little bit. Maybe you can hold on to the calf muscle. Maybe you can bring them to the ankle. And give yourself a moment or two to start to work into that left leg, straightening as much as you can along the back of the hamstring. And then you can take the foot in your hand, just like you did during the standing balance. Or you can take the peace sign fingers around the big toe. Drop the left shoulder down a little closer to the mat. Don't pick up the hips. Keep the sacrum flat. Keep the left shoulder working toward the floor. It might pop up a little bit, but if it's way up here and it's pulling your chest up along with it, then better to hold on to a different part of the leg and focus on pulling the leg a little closer to your face than it is to focus on where you're going to grab the foot. Bend the left knee and release, set it down. Pull both knees into the chest and rock a little bit from side to side. Hold on underneath your knees and rock back up to seated. We're going to move into a full reclined hero's pose next. So if fully reclined hero's pose is not right for you, then you can take the half hero pose that we just practiced with one leg at a time. Start on hands and knees and take your knees a little bit wider than hip distance apart. Bring your hands to your calves and start to shove them out of the way, and then lower your hips between your feet. And here you can lift and lower a little bit until you sink into your hips. And this may be as far as you go, or you may be far more comfortable if you use a block underneath your hips. If there's too much tension and pressure on the knees, then just practice here, or drop the block down, and instead of working on reclining, focus instead on just getting that good stretch, feeling a nice sense of muscular release in the knees and the quads. But if you can, my mat there. If you can sit down all the way, bringing your hips between your feet, you can work toward reclining the same way we did in the half version, with bringing your hands behind your hips, take a little tuck, walk down to your elbows, lift and lower the hips, take a little tuck, and again, this may be as far as you go. And if you don't want to take it any deeper, just park it here for a few breaths. If you want to take it lower, you can fully recline. And again, I like to hold on to my ankles. It gives me something to work against. It gives me something to pull against a little bit so that I can drop my knees more toward the top of the mat. Lift and lower your hips as needed in order to get your lower back comfortable. For me, I've got a little bit of space here. There's a little arch underneath the back. If you have really open knees and quads, you may be able to bring the lower back all the way down. And ideally, you could hold this for somewhere between 5 and 10 breaths. But your knees will let you know when it's time to come up. So bring your elbows down, come up first to the elbows, back up to the hands, and then walk back over onto hands and knees. And your knees will thank you as the circulation returns to your feet. Cross your ankles and tip back to seated again. Turning to the side, we'll do an open angle pose to get into the inner thighs a little bit. So you want to open the knees and feet out a little bit, maybe 90 degrees. You don't have to go, 180. If you can, and you have a lot of training in dance, or you were a cheerleader in high school, knock yourself out if you want to go full open wide. Internally rotate those thighs so that you bring more of the seam of your pants toward the floor, and you want to sit up tall. Then we're just going to start to carefully walk forward. Begin by bringing your hands to your shins. And notice if you start to round back, pulling the space between your shoulder blades starts to open up and your chest moves back, then you've gone far enough. You want to keep the chest moving forward. If you want to take it a little deeper, walk your hands in front of your chest. Inhale, get a longer spine. And then exhale, see if you can walk forward again. And your muscles will tell you when to stop. Don't push beyond the point where you're doing some work, but it shouldn't hurt, right? So we want to find that edge where you're working between ease and effort. And use your breath to help explore that spot. So as you inhale, pick up a little bit. And then exhale, maybe you lower the chest a little bit more. And if you like, you can reach out and hold your toes. You can hold your ankles. Inhale again, little pickup. Exhale and fold. If you like, you can walk your hands in front of you again. Bringing the elbows down may also feel good. Inhale again, little lift. And exhale to fold. Come up, walk yourself back up to your fingertips. Come back up to seated. Bring your left foot into your right inner thigh and try to keep the same angle on your thighs so that if you just extend that out, you'd be right here again. Okay. Bring that back in. And then we're going to twist a little bit toward the bent leg. Sit up tall. Take your right hand to the left knee and twist. Keep that twist and then extend your right arm toward your right foot. And then slowly, like you would in triangle pose, pitch down and take hold of the foot, lowering your right elbow to the knee. And you can hold on to the toe if you like, but here we're going to roll the left shoulder back and extend the left arm. Release and bring yourself back up. Same thing on the other side. And then keep the knee open to about where it was when you were in your open angle pose. And then twist to your right, placing your left hand against the right knee, right hand behind you. Draw the right shoulder back and sit up tall. Exhale to twist. Extend your left arm toward your left leg, and then start to tip down and find your foot. Maybe find your big toe, or just rest the hand on the ankle. And then extend your right arm. Bring yourself back up. And then bring the soles of your feet together. letting your knees butterfly out toward the sides, holding on to your ankles. Inhale and pick up your chest, nice and long. Exhale and bow in. Bring your elbows to your inner knees and wrap your toes with your hands. Inhale here to pick up. Exhale and fold. And then again, we're going to take that little side stretch. So bring your left elbow either down to the mat or rest it on top of your left shin. And bring your right hand to the hip. Lean down a little bit and extend your leg up. And if this makes you timber over to one side, then just keep your right hand at the hip, come up a little higher. You want to stretch here across the ribs. And release. Come back into your cobbler's pose. Inhale to pick up your chest. Exhale and bow. Grip the toes with your right hand. Anchor with your right elbow, left hand to the hip. Roll that shoulder back and then extend the left arm. And release, coming back to center. Come back to your cobbler's pose with the forward bend. Inhale to lift your chest. And exhale to bow. On to round your back, tuck your chin, and open up the upper back. Inhale to come back up to center. Bring the knees up. And it's time for everybody's favorite part of the practice. Lie down. Walk your shoulder blades in. Lift and lower your hips a little bit. Let your knees and your feet open out toward the edges of your mat. Take your shoulder blades under your chest. Relax your jaw, your throat, and your belly. Then become a little softer, a little heavier. And as always, you're welcome to stay here for as long as you like. When you're ready to come up, bring your knees into the chest. Hold on and rock a little bit from side to side. And then roll onto one side of your body in a tight fetal pose and press yourself back up to seated. Bring your hands back to heart center. Take a deep inhale and bow toward your fingertips with your exhale, with gratitude for yourself, for your practice, and for the intention you chose to guide your practice today. And decide how that intention can guide you throughout the rest of your day, the rest of your week, off of your mat. I thank you very much for joining me for this, my 15th COVID-19 practice with you. The light in my heart salutes and honors the light in yours. Namaste.